I like this card, and I'm definitely making Phyrexian tribal with it. Glissa, Herald of Predation is a 3/5 legendary Phyrexian zombie elf for 3 black-green that says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. Incubate 2, twice. Incubate says create an incubator token with 2 1/1 counters on it, and you can pay 2 to transform it into a Phyrexian artifact creature. The second ability says transform all incubator tokens you control. And lastly, Phyrexians you control gain first strike and death touch until end of turn. Unfortunately for us, Phyrexian is a relatively new creature type, and there are many old creatures that are Phyrexian, but don't have the creature type on the card, so you'll want to dip into Scryfall to see if you have any of the 236 Phyrexian creatures that are in Golgari colors, but we're going to want to avoid creatures with Infect. Infect doesn't deal damage, so Death Touch won't kill a blocking creature. If you want to deal poison damage, throw in some toxic creatures and infect creatures that won't rely on Glissa's ability to get through for damage. Since Glissa has a very simple strategy of attacking with all the Phyrexians, our curve is going to be very low. Battlefly Swarm, Bilious Skull Dweller, Evolving Adaptive, Hex Parasite, Vector Aspen, Venerated Rot Priest all cost a single mana to get out. Viridian Emissary, Armored Scrapgorger, Mer Convert, and Plague Mer will benefit from Glissa's ability and act as mana dorks to help get her out earlier. Then you can just add in some extra ramp pieces if you need it. After that, it's just a matter of picking your favorite Phyrexians to fill the creature slots in the deck. Glissa Sunslayer will help us draw cards since it's going to be easy to empty our hand with such a low curve. Moldervine Reclamation should probably help refill your hand also, as creatures die defending against your opponent's attack. Gix Yawgmoth Praetor will encourage your opponents to attack each other, and will be able to attack with everything else thanks to Glissa. And with enough ramp, you might even be able to activate his second ability, but the card draw is his primary reason for existing. If you decide to stack counters and buffs on your creatures, giving them trample will be hugely beneficial. Since they have Death Touch, you hit a defending creature with just 1 damage, and then all the excess damage spills over onto the opponent as normal. Even if they're blocking your 3/3 with a 10/10, you deal 1 damage to the 10/10. It dies, and you send 2 damage straight to the opponent's face. Thankfully, green has plenty of cards that will give your creatures trample. Garruk's Uprising, Brawn, Nylea God of the Hunt, Nylea's Forerunner, Duskshell Crawler, Bramblewood Paragon, Gnarlid Colony, Pride Malkin, Tuskguard Captain, and Crowned Ceratok will all just give your creatures trample or give it to your creatures with 1/1 counters on them. This is great because those incubated creatures Glissa makes all have counters on them anyway. Instead of throwing all of the Phyrexians in the deck, you can focus on the tokens and counters. They're artifacts at first, so cards like Armix Filigree Thrasher would be an effective removal. Cranial Plating and Nettlecyst would be an easy buff for any of your creatures. Steel Overseer and Drana Liberator of Malakir would be great for making your attackers bigger. But how about some crazy ramp? The incubator tokens aren't creatures, so Yahera will be an easy include since they'll all be able to tap for mana immediately. Then if you transform them into creatures, Cryptolitherite is the expensive option to turn them all into mana dorks, but our budget options are Zhang Yang Gu, I think, Wildcrafter, and Rishkar Pima Renegade. Since it costs 2 mana to turn these artifacts into creatures, I think that Yahera will be the most effective option here, since the artifacts can tap themselves to activate the ability and then untap to attack on the next turn. Of course, there's no real harm in using the better Phyrexian creatures and then using the incubators to help go wide with them. Now that I think about it, finding the right balance between the cards is going to be tricky, but that might be the most fun part, to be able to see if it all can come together nicely. I think I might give it a try. Let me know what you think of Glissa, Herald of Predation in the comments below, and how effective of a commander you think she'd be. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike it if you disliked it, and until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.